In the bustling streets of 1780s Boston, while cannons roared and revolution stirred in the hearts of patriots, there lived a remarkable young woman named Deborah Sampson. At just 16, she would sit by the fireplace, her eyes gleaming as her brothers spoke of battles, freedom, and the fight against British tyranny. But there was one thing that burned deeper than the flames before her: the frustration of being told no simply because she was a woman. In those days, the battlefield was no place for a lady, they said. But Deborah? Well, she had other plans. Under the cover of night, she made a decision that would change her life forever. With trembling hands but unwavering determination, she picked up a pair of scissors. Snip by snip, her long hair fell to the floor. She bound her chest tight with linen strips, practiced lowering her voice, and learned to walk with the swagger of a man. And then, in one of the boldest moves in American military history, Deborah Sampson became Robert Shirtliff, a fresh-faced recruit in the Continental Army. Can you imagine the courage it took? Every day was a careful dance of deception, changing clothes in secret, avoiding the medics, maintaining her disguise while training, marching, and fighting alongside her fellow soldiers. For 2 full years, she served with distinction. Robert Shirtliff became known for his bravery, his skill with a musket, and his unwavering dedication to the cause. She fought in several battles, carrying the same musket, eating the same rations, and facing the same dangers as any other soldier. But fate has a way of revealing our deepest secrets. During a fierce skirmish, a musket ball found its mark, and Deborah was wounded. As she lay in the field hospital, her secret hung by a thread. The fever that followed made it impossible to tend to her own wounds, and finally, her true identity was discovered. You might think this would end in scandal or punishment, but here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Word of her service reached General George Washington himself, and instead of anger or disgrace, Washington chose to honor her courage. He quietly dismissed her from service with full military honors, recognizing that patriotism knows no gender. In fact, Washington's words still echo through history. She fought like any patriot. No king decides her worth. These words weren't just about Deborah. They were about every person who dares to break barriers and fight for what they believe in. Deborah Sampson's story isn't just about a woman who pretended to be a man. It's about courage that transcends gender, about fighting for your beliefs even when the whole world tells you no. She proved that bravery, honor, and love of country aren't limited by gender. They're limited only by the size of one's heart and the strength of one's convictions. Today, her legacy lives on, reminding us that sometimes the most patriotic thing you can do is challenge the rules that hold people back. After all, freedom isn't just about breaking away from a king. It's about breaking free from any chains that bind us, even the ones society creates. Picture this: Haiti, 1791. The air is thick with tension, and change is brewing in the Caribbean. This isn't just another historical tale. This is the story of how one man's awakening shook the foundations of slavery itself. Toussaint Louverture, an enslaved man, came across a document that would change everything: the French Declaration of the Rights of Man. As his eyes moved across those words about equality and freedom, something profound stirred within him. Here was a document proclaiming all men were born free and equal, yet he and his people lived in chains. The irony wasn't lost on him. The same French who wrote these noble words were the ones cracking whips on Haitian backs. But Toussaint, he saw an opportunity. He didn't just dream of freedom, he decided to seize it. What happened next was unprecedented. Toussaint organized and led what would become the only successful slave revolution in history. His words still echo through time. There will be no kings here, only freedom or death. This wasn't just a catchphrase, it was a battle cry that would reshape history. But the path to freedom wasn't easy. Toussaint and his army faced not 1, not 2, but 3 major colonial powers. The French came at them with everything they had. The Spanish thought they could crush this uprising. The British, the most powerful empire of the time, tried to stamp out this flame of freedom. But guess what? Toussaint defeated them all. What's truly remarkable is that this wasn't just about breaking chains. Toussaint built something extraordinary: a free black republic. Think about this. While the United States, which had just won its own independence preaching freedom and liberty, still held hundreds of thousands in bondage, Haiti became a beacon of true freedom in the Americas. Decades before Abraham Lincoln would sign the Emancipation Proclamation, decades before American slaves would taste freedom, Haiti stood as a testament to what was possible. This wasn't just a revolution, it was a declaration to the world that freedom isn't just for some, it's for all. And it all started with one man reading a document, recognizing its promise and deciding that if those words meant anything, they meant something for everyone. Toussaint Louverture didn't just change Haiti, he changed what people believed was possible in the fight for freedom. Throughout history, powerful words have echoed through time, shaping movements and changing hearts. I've been thinking a lot about this quote from Malcolm X. I'm not anti-white, I'm anti-oppression. It's fascinating how these 8 simple words carry such profound meaning. Let me take you on a journey through time. In the 1960s, when Malcolm X spoke these words, America was a powder keg of racial tension. But his message wasn't about division. It was about identifying the real enemy, oppression itself. Not people, but systems. Not skin color, but injustice. Fast forward to today, and we see young protesters holding signs that read, "No kings, no masters, just people." You see, these aren't just catchy phrases or Twitter-friendly quotes. They're distilled wisdom from generations of struggle. When Malcolm X spoke about being anti-oppression, he was teaching us something crucial. That liberation movements aren't about hating groups of people. They're about dismantling systems that hurt all of us. Think about it like this. If you have a leaky roof, you don't get mad at the rain. You fix the roof. These activists, from Malcolm X to today's youth, they're all pointing at the roof, saying, "Hey, this needs fixing." The beauty of these messages is their universality. Whether it's civil rights in the 60s or social justice movements today, the core remains the same: human dignity. It's about creating a world where no one stands above another, where power doesn't corrupt, and where humanity comes first. And here's the thing that really gets me. When that young protester wrote, "No kings, no masters, just people," they weren't just echoing Malcolm X. They were carrying the torch forward. They were saying, "We understand now, we get it. This isn't about us versus them. It's about all of us versus injustice." This matters because these aren't just words on placards or quotes in history books. They're roadmaps to a better world, passed down from one generation to the next, each adding their own understanding, their own voice to the chorus. So next time you see a protest sign or hear a powerful quote, remember, you're witnessing another chapter in humanity's longest conversation, the one about how we can live together, truly free, truly equal, just people.
Enjoying the video, correct? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Please leave your feedback, hit like, share the content.
Throughout history, there have been voices that echoed through time, speaking truth to power. And today, I want to talk about why this matters more than ever. You see, when Malcolm X stood before crowds and declared, "I'm not anti-white, I'm anti-oppression," he wasn't just making a statement. He was articulating a fundamental truth about human dignity that resonates just as powerfully today as it did then. Fast forward to our modern streets, where a young protester holds up a simple cardboard sign, "No kings, no masters, just people." These aren't just words scribbled in marker, they're part of an unbroken chain, a continuous struggle for human dignity that spans generations. Think about it. Throughout human history, people have been told to bow to crowns, to pledge allegiance to flags, to serve masters. But there's always been this persistent, beautiful idea that keeps rising up, the notion that power should flow from the people, not down to them. It's like a river that's been flowing since the beginning of civilization. Sometimes it runs underground, hidden from view. Other times it bursts forth in powerful waves of change. From the streets of ancient Rome to the French Revolution, from civil rights marches to modern democracy movements, this idea keeps surfacing, that true authority comes from the collective will of free people. When we look at leaders who demand unquestioning loyalty, who build golden palaces while their people struggle, who claim divine right or superior birth, we're seeing the same old story playing out. But alongside it, there's always been another story. The story of ordinary people standing up, speaking out, and reminding the world that true power doesn't need a throne to sit on. This isn't about tearing things down, it's about building something better. It's about creating systems where we lift each other up instead of pushing others down. Where leadership means service, not dominance. Where we recognize that the strongest chains are the ones we forge together, link by link, hand in hand. This legacy, this continuous thread of human dignity and shared power, it's not just history, it's a roadmap. It reminds us that every time someone speaks truth to power, every time someone stands up for what's right, They're adding their voice to a chorus that's been singing for centuries. So when you see people marching for justice, when you hear voices raised against oppression, remember, this isn't just protest, it's progress. It's not just resistance, it's renaissance. It's the latest chapter in humanity's longest story, the journey toward a world where power serves people, not the other way around. Because in the end, we're all part of this story. And how it turns out? Well, that's up to us. Have you ever stopped to think about what true freedom really means? Not the kind they sell you in commercials or promise in political speeches, but real, raw freedom. The kind that makes your heart race and your spirit soar. You see, most of us spend our lives waiting for permission. Permission to speak up, permission to stand out, permission to be who we truly are. We look to others, bosses, society, even family, to tell us what's acceptable, what's possible, what's allowed. But here's the thing. True freedom was never meant to come with a permission slip. Think about every major breakthrough in history. The people who changed the world didn't wait for someone to give them the green light. Rosa Parks didn't ask permission to keep her seat. The Wright brothers didn't wait for the world to believe flight was possible. They acted with courage, knowing the path to freedom is often met with resistance and resilience. Freedom isn't comfortable, it's not safe. It requires us to stand tall when others want us to kneel, to speak truth when silence is easier, to walk our own path when the crowd goes another way. It demands courage, the kind that makes your knees shake but your spirit stand firm. There's this powerful truth we often forget. We don't need kings or masters to validate our existence. We don't need someone else's stamp of approval to live authentically. The moment we realize this, something extraordinary happens. We become truly free. Look around you. Every person who's ever inspired you, every movement that's ever changed the world, started with someone who stopped asking for permission and started demanding their freedom. They understood that true power doesn't come from controlling others, but from liberating ourselves. It's just us, human beings standing together, choosing our own path. No crowns, no thrones, no hierarchies of power. Just people brave enough to be free, courageous enough to live without chains, strong enough to stand on their own 2 feet. The question isn't whether you're ready for freedom. The question is, are you brave enough to claim it? Because true freedom, the kind that changes lives and shapes destinies, it's already within you. It's just waiting for you to find the courage to embrace it. Remember, the freest people in history weren't those who were given their freedom. They were the ones who dared to take it.